Night fell over the kingdom of Aldoren. The fortress walls rose dark and heavy under the pale full moon. The wind cut sharp and cold, carrying the scent of iron, of fire, and of forgotten secrets. The king lay stricken by a mysterious illness. The court tore itself apart with intrigue, but the greatest danger did not come from men. It came from the shadows beyond the wall. That night the bells rang out across the city. Warriors and priests gathered in the royal hall, and there, among trembling torches, stood 4 chosen ones. Arendor, the elven mage, with weary eyes and a mind sharper than steel. Kayla, the human warrior, her sword scarred by countless battles. Thoric, the dwarven cleric, bearer of Moradin's sacred hammer. And Leora, the half-elven rogue, swift and silent as the night itself. The hall grew still as the high priestess of Miraville appeared. Her silver veils shimmered in the firelight. Her voice rang heavy, ancient, undeniable. "The blood moon rises tonight. When it reaches its height, the seal that binds the Forgotten Lord will shatter. Only those marked by destiny can stop him." The name chilled the room. The Forgotten Lord, an ancient tyrant, sealed 1,000 years ago at the cost of an empire, a name forbidden even to whisper. The 4 accepted their fate and left that very night. They crossed the moonlit forests of Aldoren, but the path was not silent. From the twisted trees leapt gargoyles of stone, awakened by the crimson glow of the moon. Kayla's blades sparked against wings of granite. Thoric called down his god, blasting them into dust. Leora struck like a phantom, daggers flashing, and Arendor carved runes into the air, unleashing blue fire that roared across the battlefield. When the last echo faded, only their ragged breath remained. At last they reached the gorge of Elendar. There stood the obsidian gate, trembling with power. Its runes glowed, the seal straining to break. And before it waited a herald of ruin, a spectral knight in blackened armor, his lance forged from shadow itself. "You are too late," the knight thundered. "The blood moon rises, and the world will once more belong to the Forgotten Lord." The battle shook the earth. Kayla met the knight head-on, blade against lance. Leora darted for weaknesses, her strikes turned aside by foul magic. Thoric fought to keep his friends alive, driving back corruption with holy light. And Arendor, in a final desperate act, gave his own life force to summon a vortex of flame. The knight screamed. His form crumbled into ash, but the gate cracked open.
The truth struck them all. There could be no victory without sacrifice. Either they sealed the Forgotten Lord again with their own souls, or the world itself would drown in shadow everlasting. The obsidian gate shuddered. Cracks spread like veins of fire, spewing crimson energy that shook the ground beneath their feet. And from those fractures, shapes began to stir. Claws of ash, wings of black flame, the beginnings of something vast and unspeakable, clawing its way back into the world. Kayla lifted her weary eyes to the others. Her armor was broken, her blade dulled, but her resolve burned brighter than ever. Her voice cracked as she whispered, fierce and unyielding, "This is our duty, to the very end." The others nodded, each finding in that moment the strength of eternity. Leora clenched her daggers one last time, whispering a silent prayer to shadows. Thoric pressed the head of his hammer to the earth, murmuring the final blessing of Moradin. And Arendor, eyes blazing with arcane light, raised his staff high, pouring what remained of his life into one final spell. Together, they pressed their hands to the central rune. The world screamed. The gate erupted in blinding silver fire. The shadows clawing through shrieked in fury as the light consumed them, ripping their essence apart. The flames rose higher. They consumed their bodies. They consumed their voices. They consumed their very souls, until only light remained. And then, silence. The obsidian gate sealed once more, the cracks vanishing as though they had never been. The forgotten lord was cast back into the abyss, but at a price no song could ever truly measure. Far away, in the fortress of Aldoren, the high priestess felt the earth grow still. She lifted her gaze to the heavens. The moon was no longer crimson. It shone pure and silver. Tears welled in her eyes as she whispered, voice trembling with both sorrow and reverence. Heroes do not die, they become legend. And so their sacrifice became song, became prayer, became myth. The legacy of the blood moon spread across kingdoms. In taverns, bards sang of the four who gave everything to save a world that would never know their names. In temples, priests lit candles in their honor, reminding generations of the price of peace. And in the hearts of all who heard the tale, a truth was etched like fire upon stone, that darkness can be held back, though never destroyed. That hope endures even in the blackest of nights, and that always, always, there will be those destined to rise when the world teeters on the edge of despair. And so, the tale ends not in silence, but in echo. For even now, when the blood moon returns to haunt the skies, the people look upward and remember the heroes of Aldoren, the